Firstly, I just wanted to say this isn't a guide, it's purely a first impressions video. In fact, I think it's actually my second game on him. I wouldn't release a guide for a champion that I've played maybe 5 to 10 games on because I'd be wrong on a lot of things. But I can't be wrong here since it's just my opinion of him basically. He actually seems to be a really fun champion to play with an interesting skill set. I don't like that he actually doesn't have an ult, but I suppose it makes up for it by having 2 extra skills. To me, he seems to fit the roles of either playing top lane or jungle. He's definitely not an AD carry, and I'll explain why now. The main reason why Jayce isn't an AD carry is because he has 3 completely pointless melee skills. You won't really be queuing in with a hammer and eating people away because that's not how an AD carry acts. He also only has about 500 range, which is the lowest yet as AD carries go. The only one lower is Urgot, but he's not really an AD carry anyway. Most of his abilities scale pretty well with AD as well, which kind of indicates that he's not going to want to be based around auto-attacking. It's also a good sign of being a bruiser / assassin type. The only thing I could say that complements him being an AD carry is that his W gives his auto-attacks a slight boost in damage. However, 3 auto-attacks isn't much, and his field wall, which can be nice to speed up yourself and slow an enemy down, but aside from that, he has really nothing that complements being an AD carry. He doesn't actually have any proper steroids either, aside from his W, and that's not really a steroid. Also, the cooldown on his ultimate, which is 6 seconds, is far too long. Otherwise, you could knock someone away in melee mode and then switch back to ranged and continue attacking them. However, this isn't the case. So now I'm going to show you my full game on him. All of the uninteresting parts are sped up, but the parts I want to highlight will be in normal speed or slowed down. So I'm actually playing top lane Jayce, which is my favourite way to play him probably. I think he could be played in jungle as well, but I'm not entirely sure. And I'm against Fiora, which is not exactly a common lane matchup, but it's not weird either. And Lee Sin just comes for a little gank there, but he doesn't really manage to do anything. And he's going to come in through the lane this time. And I guess you can get good ganks off of him, because as you can see here, I'm going to make a really epic play and flash knock her into Lee Sin, but Lee Sin just sort of noobs it out and really just hits his Q into a minion. However, that would have, if Lee Sin had played correctly, that would have been a really, really easy gank as Fiora had no flash, and I can just sort of manipulate her movement with my awesome hammer of awesomeness. And here I actually sort of mess up and almost get killed by her, but the good part of him is that he's got good mobility with the force field thing. But without the force field, you're actually just kind of screwed. There's not really much you can do when you don't have that up. You're just as... He actually has relatively low movement speed, like base. And you're relatively... sort of like Ashe, Varus, Kog'Maw, quite unsafe. But he doesn't have the sort of damage as those carries, so that's why he's not really a carry. But he has a Q, which can be quite an offensive thing to have. And here I actually, see, I used the spell shield to the force field thing to shoot a Q through it, and I don't have it to escape. If I had had it then, I wouldn't have died in that gank. So you sort of need to, if you didn't have wards like I did, then you need to just sort of save it in case you get ganked, because I got a bit unlucky at that time. And yeah, I paid for it with my life. But it's okay, I've got my 2 Dorans, and I'll just get back to farming. It's actually, like, just generally on top lane, any champion that's ranged most of the time will be okay. Like, for at least the first few levels, you'll be okay. You won't have to play really safe or anything. You can just last hit from a distance. And he actually seems to have pretty... He doesn't really have any major mana problems or anything like that. I can sort of just stay in lane for as long as I want. He doesn't have like completely nerfed health regen like some champions do. I notice whenever Riot release a new champion, a lot of the time they'll have like some sort of broken thing with the mana regen or the health regen or the mana cost or things like that. But Jayce seems to be okay, sort of. Nunu catches me here, but wasn't really in place to do anything. The most fun thing I think I found about this champion so far is doing the spell shield, the force thing. No, spell shield is severe as E. The force field thing. I'll get used to the name eventually, and shooting the Q, because you can actually get a hell of a lot of damage through that Q, and you can use it to sort of just poke people down in lane. Just imagine like AP Nidalee would. throwing spears to poke people down in lane, and then killing them off with the scaling off the tiger form. This is sort of what you do as Jayce as well. From just from what I've experienced so far, you try and hit him with a nice Q through the force field thing, and it does a fair chunk of damage. Like, I don't even have much AD in this scenario here, yet in a second you'll see I do my force field, shoot my Q through it, and you can see right at the bottom it takes away a good chunk of Fiora's health, and now she's quite low that I can just Q onto her, ignite and E, and it's just a free kill. Even if she flashed, then she wouldn't have been able to get away from it. It's quite a little burst. Maybe does around 200 damage around that stage. 10 minutes in, it did around 200 damage, maybe 300. I'm not quite sure, but it's a fair amount of burst. Like, you can poke quite well with your Q and then go in your melee mode later on. And some people were asking me and saying things like, do you play him melee or do you play him ranged? And I think with this champion, the fact that he doesn't have an ultimate and gets 2 extra skills instead of having an ultimate, you can't decide to play him either melee or ranged. You have to play him both. You have to just be a hybrid sort of character, I guess, like I was doing then, poking with my ranged form and then going in and meleeing him. And Fiora actually thinks she can take me down here, but I just take out my awesome hammer and go to town on her, and she can't really do anything to me here because Jayce is too strong. But yeah, you can't really decide whether you want to play him ranged or not, and that's why he can't be an AD carry. AD carry has to be ranged, and you can't decide whether you want to play this guy ranged or melee. So you have to use both to take advantage of both sides of the champion. So it's just something you'll have to deal with. And I think I really have no idea actually what items you might want to buy on him. I was thinking if you were going to play him squishy, not necessarily like an AD carry, but maybe like Riven style with Bloodthirster, Guardian Angel or something like that. That might be a decent choice on him because he has good scaling on all of his abilities with AD. Like I said earlier, you can sort of just build a Bloodthirster and do hell of a lot of damage with your Q. And see, I hit the Q through the spell shield there, and I do just tons of damage to Fiora there and manage to flash away a bit. But Swain's out of mana, so I can sort of just... Swain is not really doing any damage to me, and then I just dunk him. I've got a bit of lifesteal as well, and you really just do a lot of damage. But yeah, as you can see then, the sort of damage you can do after... I would say you want to enter into a fight with your ranged abilities in your ranged form first, and make sure you can actually use the W of the ranged form, which gives you 100% attack speed for 3 attacks, and then just quickly swap to ranged to melee attack and take advantage of that still, which is something I would say depends. If you have like Trinity Force, I think it does better with melee hits. So if you're gonna use that, if you have Trinity Force, then use that. That's a really good way to do it. And I jump onto Ashe here, and I don't think I should have knocked her away then. It probably wasn't the best choice, and for some reason I'm stupid and probably could have killed her and ignited her earlier. If I ignited then, I would have killed her earlier, which would have meant maybe I could have gotten away or something like that. But yeah, Jayce really is an interesting champion. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe and check out my Facebook if you like this video.